Hello students, I'm here with another video from the chapter of class 10th Science NCERT book, that is from the chapter Life Process. So children, before starting today's video, I must give you some points which we have discussed till now for this chapter. So we have completed the various life processes, which means that the functions which is performed by the body of the organisms for their living, for surviving. So such processes include the nutrition process, which we have already completed. In the plants as well as in the animals, there are different modes of the nutrition, and autotrophic and heterotrophic modes are the two major modes of nutrition in the organisms. Even the parasitic mode, the saprophytic mode, insectivorous modes are also present in the plants, whereas in the animals also these modes are present, and they also help in the process of the making of the food. Okay, in the animals, heterotrophic mode is being considered to be one of the major types of the mode of nutrition. And then when heterotrophic mode is being considered, the heterotrophic mode is because the human beings are having the complete organ which is used in this process. So energy is being made, or the food is going to be made in the form of the small particles. They would be broken down into small particles as a result of nutrition, and the simple products are being present. This energy, how these smaller particles are now going to release some energy, and that we have studied in the next life process, that was the respiration. So respiration involves a type of it is a next life process which helps us to understand the way by which the energy is being generated in the cells. Okay, now the cells will be generating the energy in the presence or in the absence of the oxygen, which is known to be as the aerobic mode of respiration and anaerobic mode of respiration. So in aerobic mode of respiration, we saw it is taking place in mitochondria, in the cytoplasm, and then it is being stored in the mitochondria in the form of ATP. Similarly, the anaerobic mode of respiration takes place in the yeast, and it also takes place in the yeast, as well as it takes place in the animals, in the organisms, like in the yeast as well as in the muscles. Not only in the organisms, it is taking place in the parts of the organs of the human beings, that is our muscles. And what is the use of this? We have already discussed all these things. Okay, then we have discussed about the human respiratory system. After that, we are discussing about the transportation system. In transportation system, we have already seen the transportation in plants, where the transpirational pull theory was the major concept to be understood. And now I'm discussing about the transportation in the animals. So children, we have discussed about the main part, that is the blood, which is the main thing because of which the transportation in the animals is taking place. Next, what is the function of the blood? That is, blood carries oxygen to the different parts of the body. It also carries waste products, that is the carbon dioxide from the body, towards the lungs so that it could be purified. Then after that, we have also seen the different other functions of blood, that includes the digestion. It is going to carry the digested food products. Then it also protects us from diseases, because immune system is based upon the white blood cells, and these are the major part of the types of the components of the blood. Okay, then blood protects us from the various disease, as they are going to kill bacteria, and it also regulates the body temperature. So these are the various functions of the blood. And similarly, there was one more factor, that is the blood clotting, that it is the way by which when some place of your hand or your organ, sometimes we get a cut in our organ, then what happens in any part, for suppose that in your finger you get a cut, so you see that from the wound the blood oozes out, but after some time what happens, that blood stops coming out. So that is said to be as blood clotting. Okay, so in blood clotting, various proteins are being involved, and the platelets are the main cells. The platelets Platelets are the main cells which is responsible for blood clotting. Because they have blood clotting factors, they have different proteins which will be what they are going to do, they will be stopping the blood flow. Okay, now the blood clot is going to block the ruptured blood vessel because it is going to form a wire mesh like structure. Then a crisscross structure is being formed, and because of which the blood cells would not be coming out from that mesh. Okay, we have different blood groups in human beings. 4 blood groups are there, which includes A, B, AB and O, and these major blood groups, they have antigens and antibodies. So antigens are the foreign bodies, you can say, and antibodies are being generated inside the human beings, or it is present for a particular person. So blood group A and B, O and AB, all these have their particular factors, and this is what we match during blood transfusion or when the donation of the blood has to take place. Okay, then next what we have to study is the transportation in human beings, which includes the blood vessels. Okay, now I will be discussing about the blood vessels first. So the next topic which I will be discussing in transportation is about the blood vessels. Now children, what do you mean by a blood vessel? Blood vessel means it is the organ, or vessel means what? Something which is used to carry the things. Vessel means एक कोई बर्तन है. ओके, यहाँ पे क्या है कि जो ब्लड है वो भी किसी ना किसी चीज में फ्लो कर रहा है. वो क्या है? That is blood vessel. Okay, so blood vessel is the structure which helps the blood to flow in it. So blood vessels are those vessels, those structures which helps the blood to flow through it. So blood vessels are mainly of 3 types: arteries, veins and capillaries. Okay, they are the arteries, veins and capillaries. Fine. So arteries, veins and capillaries. So artery is going to help in the flow of the pure blood. It takes the pure blood. Veins carry impure blood. And capillaries are the junctions of arteries and veins. They are present at the arteries and veins. Okay, so arteries are carrying the pure blood. Similarly, veins also, they have the impure blood, they carry impure blood, and the capillaries are the places where the junctions of the arteries and they are present in the junctions of the arteries or in the veins, because they will be helpful in the making of the exchanging of the gases, in the exchanging of the products, in the exchanging of the energy, in the exchanging of the various waste materials. Okay, so all these are responsible for the exchange of the things at particular places. So children, more about arteries and veins, I'll be telling you that the transport system mainly in the human beings involve the blood circulatory system, which sometimes are just known as a circulatory system for the sake of convenience. In human circulatory system, blood carries oxygen, digested food and the other chemicals like hormones and the enzymes to all the parts of the body. It also takes the waste products. It also takes the waste products like It also takes the waste products like the excretory products like carbon dioxide, urea, and also sometimes the excessive amount of the salt. Okay, now how the blood is going to carry all these things? They will be carrying all these things because they have blood vessels, and these blood vessels are responsible for taking away of these products which are useful, also which are harmful. Both of them are being carried, dissolved in the blood. Okay, now the blood vessels of the circulatory system are present in each and every part of the human body, due to which the blood reaches to all the parts of the body. In addition to the blood circulatory system, the transport of the human beings, and there are other systems like lymphatic system, which I have taught you, I have given you at least the names. I have told you that beside blood circulatory system, we have one more system which helps in the circulation, that is the lymphatic system, which also helps in the material to transport. Thus, in the human beings, the various substances are being transported by two mediums. One is blood, other one is the lymph. We will first discuss about the blood circulatory system, and then we will be discussing about the lymphatic system. So, human circulatory system, the organs which is responsible for the transport of the material inside the body is said to be as the circulatory system. The various organs are heart, arteries, veins and capillaries. So, four things are present: heart, arteries, veins and capillaries. They include the circulatory system. They are present in the human circulatory system. Okay, if we talk about the human circulatory system, okay, so if we talk about the human circulatory system, so if we talk about human circulatory system, it includes these parts: arteries, veins, capillaries, heart, okay, and also the blood. So what are the parts? You can say that heart, blood and blood vessels. Three main parts are there: heart, blood and blood vessels, okay. In the circulatory system, heart acts as the pumping organ which pushes the blood from one organ to another. The arteries, veins and capillaries acts as pipe or the tubes which helps the blood to flow. These tubes carry the blood vessels. These tubes are known as the blood vessels, and there are three types of blood vessels: arteries, veins and capillaries. Now, heart is a place, okay. So, arteries, veins and capillaries, if we talk about the structure of these three blood vessels, we'll be seeing that. Here I told you that they contain pure blood, they will take up impure blood. But what in the case of the circulatory system we talk about, if I say what do you mean by the pure blood and what do you mean by impure blood? So pure blood means it is the oxygenated blood. Oxygenated blood means it is the blood which is mixed with oxygen. So it contains oxygen. Blood mixed with oxygen is said to be as a pure blood. It is also known as oxygenated blood, which is being carried out within the arteries, okay. Now the next is the veins. Veins carry impure blood which contains the carbon dioxide. Blood which is mixed with carbon dioxide, that is known as the impure blood, and that is said to be as the, that is known as the carbon dioxide, okay. This is known as the impure blood or deoxygenated blood, in other words. So please don't get confused if I say pure blood means it is the oxygenated blood, blood mixed with oxygen. And if I say impure blood, it means that it is the deoxygenated blood which contains carbon dioxide dissolved in it. And the capillaries are the places from where the exchange of these oxygen, carbon dioxide, food, the good products, the bad products would be taking place, okay. Now, some more things about arteries, veins and capillaries. Arteries, as they contain the pure blood, they will be starting from the heart towards the various organs, okay. So they are present, they take up the blood from the heart, away from the heart, you can say. And veins are the blood vessels which will bring the blood towards the heart. So flow of the blood is towards the heart in the veins, and away from the heart is in the arteries, because they contain pure blood. Next, the arteries, they are thick walled, okay, because the pressure is very high. Suppose that if you have to take a pipe and you have to water the plants which is very far away, so what you are going to do? You are going to just you are going to put the pressure at the mouth of that pipe, so that the nozzle from where the water is coming out would become the area would decrease. Or you can easily say that you have learned this much physics, that you can understand the formula for force or for pressure, what is the formula? That is force upon area. So pressure is directly proportional to the area, as well as it is directly proportional to the force, and pressure is inversely proportional to the area. Means area is lesser, pressure would be more. So based on the same concept, we can easily say that when the blood has to take the long distance journey, which is the pure blood which takes up the long distance journey, and this has to be flown in the head as well as in the foot at the same time, then they would be flowing in a very high pressure, and for maintaining the high pressure, the arteries have to be thick walled so that no leakage is taking place, and also they would be responsible for the arteries. They should also take up those, they would be taking up the blood which is not in a very high pressure. So for absorbing the pressure or for dealing with that high pressure, the walls of the arteries are very thick. The lumen is small. Lumen means it is a space of the pipe in which the blood is flowing. Okay, suppose if I talk about the lumen, you can see that this is the lumen, this is the place, this is the area from where the blood is flowing. Okay, so this is smaller, but if you talk about the veins, the area is large. Okay, this area of the lumen is large, space is large, because it has to collect the blood from all the parts of the body and again take back to the heart. So the pressure is not very high and blood flow is also not very high. So it completely takes up the pressure, it completely takes up the blood, and it moves from one place to another place, and not in a very high speed. It is not taking up the very speed, it is going to take up a very slow speed. And if we talk about the capillaries are the places where the exchange of the gases will take place, exchange of the things would be taking place, and they are the main site of exchange. Where if we talk about the gills, we have seen about the in the earthworms, okay, we have seen in the villi. So wherever if we talk about the capillaries are present, capillaries are the main place of exchange, whether the place is for the exchange of the energy or the exchange of that exchange could be of energy, that exchange could be of the food, that exchange could be of the simple products or anything. Wherever we talk about the exchange, then the exchange will always be taking place from the capillaries. Now children, the next thing we have discussed about the heart, we have discussed about the blood capillaries, and now I'll be discussing about the structure of heart. Okay, the structure of heart. Now if I draw this, okay, if I draw this, okay, this takes up to somewhat roughly triangular in its shape, and they have this part, okay, and they also have the valves inside. Fine. They will also be having the valves inside. So I'll be discussing about the parts of the heart. This is double layered, okay, this is being covered. So this is the structure of your heart, and this is the right side of the heart, this is the right side, and this is the left side. Okay, this contains, the heart has is made up of the It is roughly triangular in shape. It is just the size of your closed fist, and this is having 4 chambers. The two are the upper chambers called, the upper 2 chambers are called atria. Then the lower 2 chambers are called, these are the 2 atria. This is the ventricle. Similarly, this is also the ventricles. Okay, so atria and ventricles. So singular is known as atrium, one is known as atrium, and both of them are known as atria. These are the ventricles. Lower 2 surface are known as ventricles. Then they contain various valves, they contain various outlets and inlets in the heart, and then it is being covered with the membrane called pericardial membrane. It is covered with a pericardial membrane. It has pericardial fluid. Okay, it contains pericardial fluid, and the muscles which is present in the heart is a cardiac muscle. Heart is made up of cardiac muscle, and what is so important in this cardiac muscle, the most important part of this cardiac muscle is that it is never exhausting muscles, because they have the supply of the energy, because they contain many number of the nucleus in its cell. Even mitochondria is much more in larger rate. The heart is roughly triangular in shape. It is made up of special muscles called cardiac muscle. The size is about same as our clenched fist. Heart has 4 chambers. The upper 2 chambers are known as the atria, and the lower 2 chambers are known as the ventricles. So upper 2 are called atria and lower 2 are called ventricles. Now the 2 atria receives blood from the veins. They are receiving blood from the veins. Okay, this is called as pulmonary vein. Pulmonary vein. Both of them, pulmonary vein. So children, veins are the here see, we have already studied that veins always carry impure blood, but in heart, children, please remember, in the heart there is one exception, that all the veins, this pulmonary vein is going to bring the pure blood, and pulmonary artery is going to take up the impure blood towards the lungs. Okay, actually what happens, this pulmonary vein which is bringing the pure blood, once it is the impure blood, it is going to move inside the heart, it is going to move inside the lungs, it gets purified, and then the same vein is going to bring the pure blood. That is why it contains pure blood in the heart. But in the rest of the body, it is impure blood, because the same vein is going to flow and take up the bad blood from all the parts of the body. The 2 ventricles, they suppose that they transport the entire body. They transport the blood to the entire parts of the body. Okay. Now, the right atrium is connected with the right ventricle. Right atrium, right ventricle, left atrium, left ventricle, both of them are connected by the valves. Okay, these valves are responsible for they will not allow the blood to backflow in the atria or in the ventricles once they are shut. Okay, once they are closed. So both of them, left side and right side, is being separated by a muscular wall called septum. This wall is known as septum. This is known as septum. Okay. Next thing is the septum. What is it? Because it is going to separate the left and the right part of the heart. Okay, so this is what is about the structure of heart. What is pericardial membrane? Pericardial membrane is the membrane which helps in the protection of this heart, and also it is going to absorb the shock. It is also acting as a shock absorber, and because so that the injury should not be caused. Okay, now this is because the ventricles are going to contract. So this is the main pumping organ. These ventricles are going to contract and send the blood to all the parts of the body. How it is being done, I'll be telling you in the process of mechanism of blood circulation. Okay. Now chambers are, a sheath is there which is known as pericardium, or sometimes it is known as pericardial membrane, protects the muscular heart. The chambers also get separated from the muscular wall that is known as the septum. Okay. Now the arteries, veins and capillaries are the kinds of thin pipes which is going to blood flow from the body. Arteries, veins and capillaries are known as the blood vessels. These arteries are the thick walled blood vessels which carry blood from the heart to all the parts of the body. Arteries are found in the whole of our body, and main artery is called aorta. This is called as aorta. Okay, main artery, aorta. These are the largest blood vessels. These have a thick diameter. They are the largest blood vessels. They are known as aorta. Okay, so please remember the names. So they are known as aorta. Now, the main artery gets oxygenated blood from the left ventricle to all the parts of the body except the lungs. Another artery is called pulmonary artery, is connected to the right ventricle and also from the next valve that is connected with the next part. Now the capillaries are thin walled. They are extremely narrow tubes which is going to connect the arteries and the veins. Wherever the arteries and veins are connected, in the lungs, also in the alveoli region, the capillaries are present. Capillaries are in between arteries and the veins. These are the network-like connections. From one part, arteries and veins are being connected, so then only the waste material would be cleared, then the waste material would be exchanged. That is why these arteries and veins are connected together. The blood will enter into the capillaries of every body in the living organisms, and they are close to the capillaries. The various dissolved substances like food and oxygen present in the body part, they are going to pass into the body cells. The exchange of various materials like oxygen, food, carbon dioxide is taking place between the blood and the body cells, through which the capillaries would be ending. Now the capillaries end into they are being joined into the next vein, into the next broader vessel, that is the vein. Now what happens? The blood which is impure is going to come into the veins. Veins are the thin walled blood vessels which carry the blood from all the parts of the body back to the heart. The valves are going to prevent the backflow of the blood. Okay, they are going to stop the backflow of the blood. Pulmonary vein carry oxygenated blood from the lungs to the heart. Pure blood from the lungs to the heart. Please remember, veins in the heart, that is pulmonary vein and the pulmonary artery, they exchange their functions. In normal, we can say that all the arteries would carry the pure blood, whereas all the veins are going to carry the impure blood. Please remember in the heart, the function exchanged. Okay, the function is going to be exchanged. The main difference between the artery and the vein is that artery carries the blood from the heart to the body, and veins will bring from the back blood from the body to the heart. Okay, we have just now studied the heart as a kind of a pumping organ which pumps the blood all around the body continuously without stopping. And yes, see, if you are sleeping also, then the blood heart rate gets decreased, but heartbeat gets decreased, but it is never nil. It is the place where the heart is going to pump the blood from one place to another place, and it always continues till the time any problem inside your heart is not taking place. It is going to continuously flowing the blood from one place to the another place. Okay, oxygenated and deoxygenated blood would always be carried. Before describing the circulation of the blood, we should keep following points in our mind. That first, that the blood circulates in our body in two ways: oxygenated and deoxygenated. Yes, so oxygenated blood means pure blood carrying oxygen. Deoxygenated means impure blood carrying carbon dioxide. So the blood carrying oxygen in it is known as oxygenated blood, whereas this oxygenated blood is being done inside the lungs, where the alveoli are present. These alveoli are going to exchange the carbon dioxide with oxygen, and they will take up the carbon dioxide and pass again to the heart, so that it is going to bring back the impure blood towards the lungs so that it could get purified. The deoxygenated blood forms from all the organs of the body except the lungs. This is because when the oxygenated blood passes from the organ of the body, the cells are used up in the oxygen and make it deoxygenated. The deoxygenated blood therefore carries the carbon dioxide in it, which is going to circulate in the body and supplies oxygen. The digested food and the other chemicals like hormones in the other cells of the body, it carries the back waste products like carbon dioxide from the body cells. The heart beats non-stop all the time. Yes, The heart beats non-stop all the time, please remember. Because if the rhythmic contractions are taking place and relaxation is taking place, then only the heartbeat is going to be originated, and the ventricles are going to pump the blood, then it is going to flow in the body, and again from one side it is going to bring back the pure blood, and other side it is going to bring back the impure blood. Okay, so this is how the complete circulation takes place, and I'll be telling you about the blood circulation, children, in the next class. Before that, please remember the structure of your heart, that it contains 4 chambers. Upper 2 chambers are known as the auricles, the lower 2 chambers are called ventricles. Ventricles and auricles are being separated by left and the right side is being separated by a septum. It is covered by a wall called pericardial membrane, or it is a membrane because it is transparent and thin. Pericardial membrane is filled with the pericardial fluid, which is going to help in absorbing the shock. Okay, and the main veins are the veins like aorta, then main vein is there, pulmonary vein, and pulmonary arteries are there, which is going to bring and carry the pure blood as well as the impure blood, children. Okay, so this was all about the structure of heart of the human beings. I'll be discussing about the circulation, how this is taking place in the human beings, and for that you have to draw this diagram in your copy, and you will be understanding the circulation part in the next class. So before that, please revise the structure of the heart and make it very sure that inside the heart what is happening, what are the structures, what are the valves which are present, tricuspid, bicuspid valve, where is its location, please find out and tell me in the next class. Okay, so that's all for today's video. I will meet you all in the next video with the next topic to be discussed, that would be related with the circulation of the blood in the human beings. Okay, so that's all for today. I'll meet you all in the next video with the next topic to be discussed.